Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8-Second Gaming, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the best legend comps that you are going to be wanting to run this season. Having a good group of legends that complement your playstyle is an absolute must if you really want to climb, but another must if you want to get better at Apex is checking out the Game Leap website. Over there we have top level coaches, including myself, creating the best, most highly informative guides possible. And with all the changes that Season 17 is bringing, a lot of people are a little bit overwhelmed, but our coaches are already pumping out guides to help you. So if you really want to hit a new peak rank this season, click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership and start to climb today. But okay, let's jump back into things. And with the changes that Season 17 is bringing for ranked, there's a lot more emphasis on higher placement. In past seasons, it's been a little bit more skirmishy. People have been trying to get as many kills as they possibly can, and that's no longer really going to be a viable option. Getting kills is still good because you still will get RP from them, but it's not going to be where your main source of RP is coming from. So these team comps will be a little bit more reflected to winning the game instead of getting a little bit more kills. But if you still want to be a little bit more on the fighting side of things, let's talk about our Edge comp first. Now for Edge, we're going to have Newcastle, Ballistic, and Bangalore. Now Newcastle is just an automatic gimme in this team comp. He is such a strong support legend with the added benefit of being able to be highly offensive. Support characters typically have one shortcoming, and that's that they don't have any mobility. If they get singled out in fights, they have no way to get out of that situation. But Newcastle has his ultimate, so he can take off angles, be super aggressive, and if he starts to get singled out, he can jump to his teammates. On top of that, he has so many different ways to make cover at will, and if you guys are fighting and you happen to get third party, Newcastle can give your team a breath of fresh air with all of the different ways that he can give your team cover. And with so much emphasis coming onto these placement points, Newcastle is also very good for that, because as your team comes into the circle later in the game, there might not be a lot of really good spots to play, but that doesn't matter for Newcastle because he can slam down his ultimate and give you guys a spot to play. He's a very strong character, especially when it comes to Edge comps. But the next legend that we have in this team comp is Ballistic. Now Ballistic is just built for being aggressive. Everything in his kit is about fighting. He gets an extra weapon. He can make it so that other people can't fight back. He can make it so your team has infinite ammo, faster reloads, faster move speed, stuff like that. You're taking everything that an Edge comp wants to do and slapping it into a legend, so it makes perfect sense as to why he's on this list. Now for Ballistic, your main job is really just going to be shutting down the enemy team and make it so that they can't shoot back. You want to pick the person that is the most potential to kill you guys with your tactical so that they can't shoot back, and then just push up on them for free. Ballistic is able to make a 3v3 into a 3v2 extremely quickly because one person is not going to be able to shoot back at your team. You can snowball that extremely quickly, winning the fights before people even have a chance to react, so it's less likely that you are actually to get third party because the fight is over super fast. And to round this team comp out, we have Bangalore, another super offensive legend that wants to be in fights. Now Bangalore is actually very surprising for me because she's actually gone through kind of a change in her playstyle. She has gone from a secondary fragger to more of an entry fragger, and it does fit her a little bit better, and it's actually making her very meta. Her double time is really good in 1v1 situations. It makes her such a strong dueling character. On top of that, her smokes are super good at cutting off line of sight, so you can single enemies out or give your team more time to heal or provide cover in the blink of an eye. And her ultimate is like a Swiss Army knife. It can do so many different things in multiple different situations. If you need to push a team, you can do it. If you need time to heal, you can do it. If you need to create a distraction or maybe even make some noise so your team can do something else, you can do it. This is the team comp to run if you guys just want to fight all game. But what if you're really looking to double down on the placement points? Well, for that, you're going to be taking a look at our zone team comp. For this, we have Caustic, Crypto, and Wraith. Now Caustic is a control legend, so he will be able to scan the beacon to see where the next ring is going to go. That is very important for zone because it helps you set up for those endgame situations. On top of that, he is probably the best at denying a bunch of areas. He can make buildings extremely hard to push, and he can also be offensive when the time comes for it. And in endgame situations, he doesn't really have to be close to anybody to be annoying. He can throw his barrels pretty far, and his grenade can just be yeeted into a big group of enemies and do a bunch of damage to them. If you get Caustic to an endgame situation, he's actually able to set up some barrels. He can take away so much real estate and make it essentially a free win because people are just ticking for so much damage. Now I know some people are probably going to be wondering, can you put Wattson in this team comp instead of Caustic? And yes, you can, but Caustic is just a much better option. Wattson does have very good area denial. Her fences are good, her generator is good, but in endgame spots, she's not as strong. And right now, you want to win the game. Caustic is much better at closing games out than Wattson is because his barrels and his gas just do so much more than her fences. If this was a different meta, I probably would say that Wattson and Caustic are pretty interchangeable, but right now I think Caustic just has a little bit more of an edge over Wattson right now. And next up for for Crypto, he's going to be flying super hard back into meta because of how good he is in these types of playstyles. Crypto is a good legend because he wants to just sit in a building and play on his Game Boy all day, and that is what the Zone team comp is built for. Caustic locks down a building so that he can just sit there and do this all game long. You can scan the UAVs from afar to see where all the teams are playing, plan rotations better, and just see where teams are going to be coming in from potentially. And when you get Crypto and Caustic into endgame situations together with the Wombo combo, it is essentially a guaranteed win when you hit a bunch of different enemies. Crypto EMP makes it so that Caustic can throw his grenade without having to worry about any interception pylons or maybe a Gibraltar bubble or stuff like that. Everyone's going to be taking a bunch of damage, they're going to be slowed, it's just going to be free kills for you and your team. And the last legend for this team comp is Wraith. Essentially, she's only really here to get your team from point A to point B safely. She's a great entry fragger, and she can also do stuff that other legends can't do, like playing extremely split from her team. When you get to certain spots in Zone, you're holding them for endgame, Wraith can play split from her team and hold different areas. You can make it so that teams aren't going to be as willing to push on you because they think there's more teams around you. If you're playing super wide, teams are just going to be less likely to mess with you, and Wraith can do this very effectively. And when it comes to endgame spots, she's also very strong because she can portal dance and buy your team a bunch of time. And if the Zone pulls very far away from you, her portal is great at getting Caustic and Crypto to new areas so that they can set up again. Wraith has always been a go-to for Zone comps for a very good reason, and that's not going to be changing anytime soon. So if you guys really want to take advantage of all the placement points you can, run this comp. But what if your team is very indecisive and you don't know exactly what kind of playstyle you want, or you just always find yourself in this weird limbo where you change game to game? Well, for that, you're going to be wanting to take a look at our hybrid team comp. This is a team comp that can morph to match whatever you find yourself in. So if you want to play Zone, you can play Zone. But if you find yourself on Edge, you're more than happy to take a fight. For this, we're going to be taking a look at Catalyst, Loba, and Valkyrie. Now, starting off with Catalyst, she is receiving a huge buff to her ultimate to make it so that she essentially is going to be shutting down scan characters. You're not going to be able to see the diamonds through her wall, so it is going to be a lot harder for people to counter her. This makes her super strong for endgame situations because you can just cut off a bunch of line of sight and play around it. This forces the other teams to fight each other instead of fighting you because they can't see you. Now, Catalyst is also really good at funneling teams, so if she does find herself on edge, she can be very useful in those situations as well. You can block off doors, you can block off choke points with your spikes. She is good at different situations, and that's why I have her on this team comp. But helping her out is Loba. Now, a lot of people seem to think that Loba is a support, but kind of like Bangalore, she has morphed into a new role, and that role is secondary fragger. Her bracelet allows her to take some really good off angles in fights and even get out of situations if things go south. And because she is a support character, she is also going to be buffing your entire team so that no matter what happens, anyone can craft the banners if things go south. But the reason that I absolutely love her on team comps like this is because of her black market. Sometimes fights on edge can go really long and you can be chugging through resources like heals and ammo, but Loba's black market can allow you to replenish your stocks without actually having to go into danger. And even if you guys are playing Zone, you can do the exact same thing because you can be poking with teams constantly and not have to worry about anything. How many times have you guys had it where you're just in a poke battle with somebody and you run out of ammo and you have no idea what to do? Well, with Loba, that isn't an issue anymore. She was one of the strongest legends in season 16, and I think she's still gonna be a very strong legend in season 17. And the last legend in this team comp is Valkyrie. Now, Valkyrie's ultimate is good for both Edge and Zone for different reasons. For Edge team comps, it allows you to extend fights. You're not gonna be panicking as much as the other teams because you won't have to use as many heals to get out of the zone. All you have to do is pop a Valk ult, fly there, you're perfectly fine. So that makes her a really good addition to Edge comps, but for Zone, you can get to buildings before anyone else even realizes where it's going to be pulling. You use Catalyst, scan the beacon, figure out where things are pulling, use Valkyrie, get there, set up, and nobody else will even be near you. Now, I'm going to be honest, I am a little bit hesitant to put Valkyrie on here because the new survival item with the evac towers, this could completely phase Valkyrie out, and if that's the case later on in the season, then you guys can definitely swap her out for pretty much any other entry fragger to fit your own personal needs. Somebody like Bangalore or Wraith, depending on what kind of team comp you find yourself needing. But I still think Valkyrie's ultimate will be really good in these types of situations, even if the evac towers are strong. So that is why I'm keeping her on this list. But let me know your favorite team comp in the comments down below, and if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thanks all for watching. Once again, I'm Mates and Gaming. I'll see you guys in the next one.